Sup nerds! So in today's video, we're going to be doing my predictions and my review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So if you enjoy this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, and make sure to hit that notification bell so you can see more coverage of the MCU and other nerdy things in the future. First, we're going to be talking about who dies and who lives, and then I'm just going to talk about little predictions I have for the movie. And then we're going to go into my review, and I will be doing an MCU tier list sometime later. So stay tuned for that. Let's go. Alright, I'm not going to sit here and waste your time. I basically did death and alive predictions. Just didn't really work out well because literally pretty much no character died in the movie. So, yeah, I'm just going to give you a little bit. The one prediction that was, like, pretty full-on clear that I got, like, perfect. I don't feel like wasting time. Let's go. And finally, the most brutal death in this movie will be Lila. Lila's going to die. The High Evolutionary wants to piss off Rocket because Rocket's coming to attack him, and he doesn't like him, and he thinks he's a lower life form, and he just fucking kills Lila right in front of him, and that pisses Rocket off, and Rocket's willing to fucking die for her, and that's where he makes a sacrifice play. It's emotional, it's sad, it's heroic, and it's epic, and it's a great ending to James Gunn's story, Rocket's story, the Guardians of the Galaxy story. Any other predictions I have, I do think this story ends up with some of the Guardians staying on Earth or staying on a different planet, just doing their own thing, not being a part of this team. Some of them will carry on the legacy of the team and lead it, like Nebula, and most of them will die, and I'm not ready for that. If only one person dies in this movie, I'm gonna fall down and be pissed, but I'm gonna bet it's more than that. What did I fucking tell you? The MCU, with the fucking bounce back, with the comeback, Sony just made Across the Spider-Verse with associates of Marvel. Of course, we're making fucking great things now. Secret Invasion is gonna be great. This movie was just amazing. Good send-off for James Gunn. He's amazing. Hopefully, DC's good. The Flash just came out. I might go see that. I might not. Well, it depends. It really depends if it's good or not. Now, the Guardians trilogy, I believe, is the best MCU trilogy. It is one of the best trilogies ever. It used to be Cap's trilogy was the better one, but now it's Guardians. It was just beautiful. Let's go on and talk about this amazing movie right here. This is my 16th or 17th favorite comic book movie of all time. Yes, that seems like, oh, that's a little low, isn't it? Like, oh, what? Like, no, this is really fucking good. Like, there's a lot of good comic book movies. Like, it's hard to, like, place everything, but it's literally right outside my top 15. All of them are insanely great, so that's really hard, but this was an absolute perfect send-off for James Gunn, for the Guardians, and yeah. So, let's talk about this more. First, we got the humor. I can't fully explain how I went from crying to laughing to head-bopping to screaming. I can't even give you this big talk about the humor or whatever. I feel like I just have to go with the examples. Like, just, like, list them off. Here we go. Adam Warlock's innocence. Blurp. Drax and Mantis' relationship. Drax throwing the dodgeball. Officer Nolan and his stupid friend. Miscommunication of all the Guardians on Half-World. Star-Lord not wanting to hear any more about the falling world-dominating backstories of these big falling villains, and just etc, etc, etc. There was just so much funny stuff in this movie. I don't know if it was funnier than the first movie, and I think that's why I dial back on how much I like it. I don't think it's as funny or like as solid as the first movie. I feel like the first movie is very solid. This is a little bit more chaotic. There's certain things about this movie that I just don't think are as great as the first movie. Now we're going to be talking about the CGI. There was nothing really in this movie that really bothered me about the CGI. Adam Warlock a little bit, but not really. I thought he looked great. Like, there were certain characters that were like, whatever. But like, I feel like I've ignored a lot of the CGI failures of Marvel in the past few months, in the past few movies and shows. I feel like I've ignored a lot. There's just not enough for me to complain about. You know, like, a lot of people love to complain about everything, but it doesn't really take me out. This, I couldn't really tell you anything that really took me out of the movie or really, like, clicked that the CGI was bad at all. I'm going to talk about the conclusions of the characters, where they're heading after the movie. It concluded in another section, not this section right here. I'm just going to talk about the character overall in this story. First, we're going to start with Mantis. Mantis is obviously hilarious. I think she's even funnier in this movie than she was in Guardians 2. But a thing I'd like to talk about is how they gave her so much more actual fight scenes. Like, Palm asked for that, and they gave it to her, and she was really happy with that. And yeah, I just think that's awesome. Like, a character that's like her main thing is like her like mental like stuff, the way she affects people's emotions, but like she can also fall and kick butt. Like, there you fall and go. Like, I thought that was really cool. And now we have Nebula. She's still disconnected from the team. I think the problem with that is that her main connection to the team, the reason she joined was her sister, but then she died, and now it's a whole new version of her. And she still wants to make that connection, make that bond with her, but she really can't because it's not the same person. Everything she went through with her just, like, erased, which really sucked. A detail I will be talking about in a little bit, Rocket and Nebula were the only two Guardians that, like, lived after the blip, and so they are just scarred from that, and that's why they have such a good connection together. The final thing I want to talk about is how she took a very big leadership in the Guardians for this film. Like, I feel like before she was just like kind of there, she wasn't really a part of the team, but now I feel like she definitely is, and I think that's a really cool thing for her character, and I hope we see her deal with the team more. It seems like she's dealing with Nowhere a lot, but I'll get to that in a second. Then we have Drax. Drax was probably one of the best fathers in the MCU, but one of the best father figures to anyone ever, to his daughter, and a great husband to his wife, because oh my gosh, the way he makes those kids laugh that were like traumatized and experimented on by the High Evolutionary, and the way he makes the Guardians laugh, and that is his contribution to the team. It shows that just because you're not the smartest guy in the room doesn't make you completely useless. Like, there is use to being funny and to being just like a good source of energy for the team. Like, if everyone's just smart, they're all going to be fighting each other for whoever's the smartest. Like, there is reasons why you need certain people that aren't the smartest in the room. Yes, they can be smart or be smart in their own way or do a certain thing. Those are good things to have, and Drax does prove that in this film. Shuts Nebula up and makes the kids laugh and gets them to listen to him. Showing that was a really cool part, rather than him just being dumb and funny. And then we have Adam Warlock. I absolutely loved him in this film. I thought he was great. I can't wait to see more. He's kind of just a puppet for Aisha and the High Evolutionary. He was just like their murder weapon. Like, that just kind of sucked, because he just seems like such a great guy and such a great character, and he cares about Blurp. It's so cute.
I will train it in the ways of the Sovereign. I will train him not to do that.
One more step and this weird thing gets it!
Don't be rash.
I hope he's cooler in the next ones and just a more developed character, because it didn't really seem like it this. And it kind of is James Gunn's part of his legacy. Like, he built up to Adam Warlock, and then he didn't really get to do what he wanted with him because they fired him and they got him back, and it's a whole big thing. Anyways, I can't wait to see more of him. And then we have Gamora, one of the most upsetting parts of this movie. It just sucks because James Gunn didn't want Gamora to die. He didn't really approve of it, and he was just like, okay, now I have to deal with this. Like, having to deal with that, I think he did a great job, because there wasn't really much to build off there. Gamora have to deal with someone loving her and she doesn't even know who he is. It's like, that is such an interesting concept, and I think that's really cool. The way they deal with that and the way she acknowledges him. I'll talk about that more in a little bit. Also, the grunt of acknowledgement and respect, the sisterly bond that she has with Nebula is absolutely amazing. And I like how no matter what, they're still sisters through and through, and they're always going to have that little respect between each other. And then we have Star-Lord. Peter's fucking heartbreaking story is just so fucking brutal. He had to try to kill Gamora, and then Thanos killed her, and then he punched him and got him out of the spell where they were going to take the Infinity Gauntlet from him, and he then blames himself for that, and then he gets blipped for 5 years, and then he comes back to see a Gamora that doesn't even fucking remember him, and then it doesn't remember their whole relationship. They were like in love. Like, that's crazy. And then she just totally forgot him and kicked him in the balls. Touch. That's fucked up. He's got to deal with all this, and it just sucks. And the only thing is, like, I wish we got to see him like deal with the grief more rather than just him drinking. Like, that was kind of like disappointing, but like it wasn't really like a big deal. Like, we got the point. And then even going through all that and drinking and almost he's like getting blackout drunk like a lot, and then he pushes through all that to go save his best friend Rocket, because he's one of the only beings in the universe that truly understands him and is able to like be friends with him, because they're characters that get on a lot of people's nerves, and like a lot of people probably do blame him for punching Thanos. He doesn't really have a lot of people that he feels like he can talk to, so yes, he's gonna fall and fight through all the stuff he's been through to go save Rocket. And then we have the High Evolutionary. What a fantastic villain, just absolutely brutal and horrific and disgusting, and we actually hate him not just because he messes with the characters that we love. Of course, yeah, we're gonna be pissed at any villain that messes with our favorite characters, obviously. It's the actual acts that he does in general that, like, if he did those acts in real life, everyone would hate him. It's disgusting what he did. He literally mocks Rocket for crying after he literally kills his main friend, if not his main love interest, his main partner that he is captured with. He kills her and then mocks him for crying after he kills her right in front of him. Oh my gosh! He experiments on these animals and then just absolutely disrespects them, and just because he thinks he's just like this higher life form intellectually, and he literally thinks that the gods of the universe were not good enough, so the universe sent him down to correct their mistakes. Oh my gosh, tell me how that is not a top 5, top 10 Marvel villain. He has no empathy or sympathy for anyone, and he hates Rocket for being smarter than him. He thinks that he's just so far above any like entity of the universe because he's just so smart. And so when a raccoon has a bigger brain than him, he just collapses and hates him because he doesn't think he deserves it. How awful is that? That's terrible. Now we have Rocket. Just picture this. You're an animal on Earth, just chilling there. You're actually really smart, but you can't really do much because you're an animal. You get swooped up by the High Evolutionary with your family. You then get experimented on and tortured, and then you finally meet these other animals that got experimented and tortured, so they know what you've been through, and then they become your friends, and you actually start to like this one animal, and you form like such a good bond with these animals, and then you finally realize that you're where you were supposed to have peace, you're supposed to end up on this peaceful world called Half-World, and then your captor literally tells you, no, you're not going there, we're just gonna kill you. And then when you try to escape, the fallen captor kills all your friends, and then you go fall and beat them up, and then you have to leave. You go and you finally are healed, or not even healed, close to healed, and then you meet these new friends. You then lose your best friend, and then the next movie, you lose your next best friend, and then you have all your other friends, and then you lose those friends for 5 years, except for one friend that you're not even really that good friends with. And then you form a good bond with her, but you know, it was really full-on sad. You lost all your friends for 5 years. And then you almost die because you got experimented on. You finally have to face your captor, your person that experimented on you, and then you fall and beat them up. But how? Just tell me how that is not a top 5, top 3 storyline for a character arc, to be honest, ever. Like, one of the best storylines, best character arcs I've ever heard. It's definitely top 5 in the MCU. It's just crazy. And I love how James Gunn had it planned from the start. I love that. And it's based from him. That's absolutely amazing. And then we move on to the visuals. We go with all these worlds that we're at. We're at Nowhere, which we've seen before, but now it's upgraded and mobile and just looks better, and it just is really cool. It was really cool in the Guardians holiday special, but now it's really amazing. Then we go to Orgoscope, which is a weird, like, fleshy planet. It's not even a planet, it's like a base. It's like a fallen base where they like make organic stuff. Like, it's really weird, but it's really Falden cool. Also, we got Falden Nolan chilling, was really great. And then we have Half-World with the 80s aesthetic, absolutely just weird creatures and weird Falden music, and it was just amazing. I thought it was really cool. And then you have the High Evolutionary's base red, it's complex, and then it turns into a fallen rocket. How big of an ego do you have to have just a fallen... If you're gonna blow up a planet, you just go out with your fallen red, complex, like, pyramid rocket thing? Like, how fallen... Really? Are you kidding me? Ridiculous. Fallen ridiculous, but it looked awesome. Tell me how these movies are still getting the most Fallen Fire soundtracks. Crazy on you. Since You've Been Gone, Creep, Dog Days Are Over, and don't you Fallen dare get me started on No Sleep Till Brooklyn. Holy fald, my head was banging so Fallen hard in that Fallen theater. I was about to start a Fallen earthquake. Fallen earthquake. Oh my gosh. And I know it's bold. I know it's Fallen bold. But I will Fallen tell you right now, I truly believe that this is the best Fallen fight hallway scene in any Fallen form of cinema ever. I don't care about Luke's or Vader's, it doesn't matter. This tops it all. It was absolutely amazing, and it got me so Fallen pumped. Oh my gosh, I got so hyped, and I love No Sleep Till Brooklyn. Great Fallen song. And, yeah, it was amazing. Now let's talk about the plot. The whole story ran through Rocket. Like, Rocket was the main story arc of not only this movie, but all 3 movies in this trilogy. And the fact that James Gunn saw himself in Rocket was amazing. This means he planned it from the start. Maybe not every single detail, especially because he got fired and then came back. But the overall story that he wanted to tell, it was that. And I thought it was amazing. I love that they ran the whole story through its own, like, single story. Like, it didn't have to do with the greater story of the MCU, but it didn't need to. It just focused on the Guardians going through a Guardians adventure to go save their friend. And the main thing is of the story, of the Guardians story, is how much love they show for each other and how much they truly care about each other. No matter how risky things get, how close they are to dying themselves, they will go save their friends. It doesn't matter. And I think that is just beautiful and amazing, and I just can't think of how much better you could have made this movie. How Fallen great was that? Alright, let's pretty much wrap this all up with the ending. Let's start from Rocket's death, because that's what it is. It's Rocket's death. He dies, he goes sees his friends, he's ready to go with them. He just wants to be with them, and he just feels like there's nothing really left for him anymore. But the universe, or the hands that guide the hands that Lila talks about, sends him back. Because they know that Rocket deserves to live a life where he's not just a monster, he's not just a machine, that the hands made him to be, the High Evolutionary made him to be. The hands are guiding the hands of the High Evolutionary to make Rocket who he's supposed to be. The High Evolutionary tortured him, but the hands that guide the hands of the High Evolutionary are making Rocket a stronger character and a better character and a better being of the universe, and there's something more that he is meant for in the whole universe, and I think that is truly awesome. I think that is the true creators of the universe. It's not just, oh, Kang the Conqueror or this, it's the writers, it's everyone who's creating their stories of the MCU, and I think that is an amazing message. That just because the hands that make you, your parents, your like guardians, your teachers, or whoever, just because they say you can do something or they push you to do something, doesn't mean that's what you are meant to do or you need to do. It is okay to go away from them, but you should always truly respect that because they made you who you were supposed to be. That's not always a good thing. And there's a lot of bad experiences people have, obviously. That's what is shown in this movie with the High Evolutionary. But what the hands guiding the hands is meant to be is that the High Evolutionary did all these awful things to him, but Rocket was a stronger person, a stronger being, because the High Evolutionary did all this bad stuff to him. It's not right, but that's what happened to him, and the universe is guiding him to be who he's supposed to be now. And then Rocket finally finds out he's an actual raccoon from Earth, and I think that's an amazing thing, and he's finally, oh, he is Rocket Raccoon. And he used to think that raccoon was just a mean thing to say to, like, about him, but he is a raccoon, and he just adopts like what he is. Then the High Evolutionary runs in, screams at him, "Oh, you're awful, 89P130," a taunt that he does to him because he's just an experiment in his head. He isn't a natural being. The Guardians go to help fight the High Evolutionary, and then they beat him up, and they rip his face off, revealing his hideous face, revealing that he is truly the monster. He's not this god that the universe sent to go correct the mistakes of the original gods. He is this truly disgusting monster that Rocket exposed him for being. And now I'm going to be talking about the endings for each character. First, we have Gamora. She goes back with the Ravagers, and I don't know what I want them to do with their character. I think they either just leave her with how she is now, and we don't really go back to her, or if we go back to her, I want to make sure they know what they're doing. They go talk to James Gunn, and they should make sure he agrees with it and is like okay with it, because I think that's only fair, because they did her fault and dirty in Infinity War and Endgame. Then we have Peter. He finally is able to talk with Gamora, and she finally acknowledges that yeah, maybe they were a good couple when Gamora was the person she was before she died. I just thought, I bet we were fun. It's just a really nice line that Peter can deal with and he can handle. He's like, yes, this really sucks, and I really wish she loved me, but this is not the same person. He appreciates that she acknowledges what he's going through, and that they might have been good together, but that's just not the reality. Because of that, he's able to put all that stuff in the past, and he's able to go and forgive his grandfather for yelling at him and pushing him out of the folding emergency room, probably just trying to protect him. He kind of seems like he's settling on Earth, but you know, that's probably not going to last long. Oh, well, I'm just going to go settle on Earth. That never fucking happens. There's Fulton Hawkeye and Ant-Man, and see where they are now. They're Fulton dealing with Kate Bishop and Fulton Cassie Lang. Come on. And then you have Nebula. She becomes a very important part of the Fallen Guardians team, but then it just seems like she's gonna stay on Nowhere, making a home for travelers, dealing with a lot of threats, and just trying to make sure everyone stays communicated with each other. Maybe the Guardians are still kind of connected to Nowhere, or maybe not. I don't really know, but she seems like she's kind of gonna stay on Nowhere rather than go and fight. She was also gonna make sure the High Evolutionary doesn't get out, because I'm pretty sure they're locking him up there. And then you have Mantis. Finally, after being a slave for years and then being a part of the Guardians team, Mantis wants to finally find out who she is, because she really hasn't been able to. It's been a team or helping out a falling Celestial and not really getting to be her own individual person. So I think that's really good for the character. It'll be really cool to see when she comes back, because she's definitely coming back. I'll definitely be excited to see when she comes back and see like how she's developed as a character. And then you have Drax, stays on Nowhere with Nebula, and he is just heartbroken. Him and Mantis were just best friends, and she was kind of the only one who truly understood him and respected him and actually was friends with him, and it just really sucked that she just left and he just felt all alone again. He lost his wife and his daughter, and he just doesn't really connect with a lot of people. Hopefully Nebula pretty much respects him a little bit more now, and they're going to become pretty good friends, but we'll see. Finally, we have Rocket, the leader of the new Guardians team. We have Groot, we have Rocket, we have Kraglin, we have Adam Warlock, we have Phyla, and we have Cosmo. What a great team. Hopefully that team will be explored in a show or a movie or some sort of connection to a big movie, and they're actually an important part of that, because the Guardians team should not go away, and they're amazing, and I'm really going to miss a lot of the characters. Hopefully they come back. We'll just have to see. One more thing before I get to my final problems of the film. My main complaint from the film was that nobody died. Pretty much nobody died. Lila died, but like pretty much nobody died from the original Guardians team. That's what I thought was going to happen, and I talked about that in the original first part of this video. In my predictions part, I said I'd be mad if only one of them died, but pretty much none of them died, and it was still amazing. And I love that James Gunn showed that you can still have a good send-off for characters even though you don't kill them, and it can still be heartbreaking. It's like a melancholy feel. I have 3 complaints. They're very tiny. Rocket really wasn't in that movie that much, and it kind of sucked because I love Rocket now even more than I did before, but he's pretty much the main leader of the Guardians team, so hopefully we'll see a lot more from him. My second complaint is that they didn't kill the High Evolutionary, which I feel like they should have. Like, I feel like they definitely should have. The upside from that is that hopefully we get to see him again. Probably not, but you never know. And my last complaint is that Adam Warlock just didn't really live up to his full potential in this movie, but I feel like he'll definitely get to that more towards the Secret Invasion and Kang Dynasty movies. Hopefully he gets more and more strong and more like bearable, because he was a little annoying because he was just very innocent in the movie, but he was funny, and we'll just have to see how his character develops. Hopefully it'll be good. And now I leave you with my overall rank. We have cinematography, I give it an 8. The message is a 9.5. The top 3 moments is a 9.5. The quotable moments are a 9.5. For the best camera shots, CGI beings, and visual symbolism, I have a 9. For the sound effects and score, I have a 9.5. And how well this film does for what genre it is, I give it a 9.5. And that gives us a total of... What's the second drum roll? 9.225 out of 10. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my coverage of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Let me know what else you want to hear from me. A Guardians soundtrack ranking or a tier list of my favorite MCU movies. That will probably definitely come soon. I'm going to be talking about the Across the Spider-Verse movie soon, and my Fulton brain has exploded from that movie. I'll tell you how good I think it is. If you have not heard anything about my thoughts on Across the Spider-Verse, go check out my TikTok. I have my one TikTok, Geeko, and my other TikTok, I have echoes__. So go check out both of those to go check out my gaming TikToks and my thoughts on a lot of the movies and stuff that gets revealed. I will be doing on TikTok. Like, all that stuff is really there. Like, my original thoughts, my more in-depth ideas and thoughts will be on YouTube, and I will still be here. Sorry this video came out so late after the movie, but I'm just trying to get myself all like straightened out on getting content out, because I love this and I want to keep doing this. And yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did enjoy, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, and make sure to hit that notification bell, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you, nerds.